Hey everyone, I'm coming to you today to talk about our cells. Our cells are under attack, and I had an opportunity to watch Dr. Jim Warner today interview Marcy Smano, and I involved those two people that are just incredible of the things that they're bringing forth. And I have followed Dr. Sue Morter with the Energy Code. She's done body work for many, many years and just has evolved into just such a high level um, of understanding about our bodies and our cellular structure and energy. We are energy forces. So you may have heard me talk so much about over these last years about activation and our cellular activation. I'm always about getting to our root cause because if we're just treating symptoms of things, we're not getting anywhere. We're masking the situation actually, and our symptoms can manifest in bigger and bigger ways. So we really need to deal with the physicality that's happening and get to the root cause of that, whether it's life hacks, whether it's, I promote our activation products at a cellular level because it's been studied and Big Pharma's trying to copy us with synthetic versions of plant-based products with patents and peer-reviewed, serious peer-reviewed research. And that's one topic. But I've also been very focused on our emotional health and our emotional well-being, and it affects our cellular structure. Dis-ease equals disease, so we cannot um, put no importance on that or ignore that. And the times that we have been going through in the last number of years is just faster than any civilization has had to process things. We've been dysregulated, and our nervous system and our central nervous system has really been affected. We're on fight or flight. And I've learned from my physical business with activation and all of the doctors and the research that keeps coming forth that we even have fibroblast cells. And they are supposed to come on when we have a really big problem, like the tigers chasing us, but then they go off in your body. But ours have been turned on. And something that can be so good in that moment of emergency is not so good when it's chronic. And we're not so great in this country dealing with chronic disease, and it's becoming more and more rampant, and even more so at younger and younger ages. And right now, we're at a peak time, with what's happening in the world. And last night was supposed to be a momentous um, uh, ultimatum. And luckily, we've weathered that for the moment. And I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent because what I noticed yesterday, and especially with the populations and the mentors that I follow, is that taking care of ourselves, being peaceful in ourselves, is a call to action because the collective consciousness can make a difference. It does make a difference. That's why prayer works. So you can equate it with prayer. When I've seen different people last night doing uh, urgent lives of getting everybody calmed down, and starting to be self-centered, where so many times talking about serving others, but to serve others, we have to serve ourselves. And different civilizations and populations and cultures have looked at that often as selfish. I know I grew up, don't be conceited, don't be selfish, but self care is not selfish. And we are dysregulated, and we are bringing a lot of disease and sickness into our lives. So I've been very careful about always talking about the company that I'm affiliated with physical products that get to the root cause of our cellular structure. And but I've been slow about bringing forth the emotional wellness part of my business. I've created workshops, and I've been a speaker and an author on these topics, and I've been through a lot of trauma, and I have ongoing um, uh, serious trauma that doesn't end. So how do you live and be happy and go on with your life and balance that in those circumstances? And two people that I follow and I'm very involved in, Marcy Sminoff, this is my second year in her program called Your Year of Miracles, and they bring in so many different global mentors and thought leaders, many of whom I have known, and others that I'm so happy to learn about. We carry our past traumas and generational traumas. We pick up auras and other things from other people, and being surrounded by media and other things, it gets picked up into our consciousness. And so many times we think we can think and intellectualize ourselves out of those circumstances, but you really can't. It is really your subconscious, your superconscious that is running the show. And um, we often don't know what that is. We think we do. Even body healers and people working with energy think that they've gotten to the root cause of things. And off on my tangent a little bit, I was very frustrated because I've put together and spent a lot of time developing some workshops, but the marketing of it, and I know people need my what I have to share. I know they need my services, but I wasn't willing to go down those hardcore funnels of a constant berating of in your face marketing. I don't like that. Even though I've clicked on things and taken courses from others, I wanted things to happen organically. And then I believe a miracle happened. I was following somebody on um, Facebook and contributing to her and commenting on her post because she created such informative, holistic posts. And I actually thought she was in my area, in the Palm Beach type area, but she's in Canada. And one day she held up her phone and said, I can do with this in one session what it took me 20 in-person sessions to heal and work with my clients. And I went, whoa, I want to know more, because every time I also start to rev up the emotional part of my business, because we are our emotions. We can't separate that out from our health. We The companies I'm with physical products introduce a new product, and I need to launch that. I mean, our collagen is fantastic. The new gut health activator that is phenomenal. It activates the microbiome, and we had other probiotics and other things before. This is exceptional. So each time, okay, I've got this part stabilized, I need to get the emotional wellness part of my business going. People need me. They need what I have lived through, and that I felt alone in. And I know things that other people might not have experienced. And I'm not happy about that. It hasn't been an easy journey, and I'm still dealing with so many circumstances of that today. But this morning, Dr. Sue, who has a new book out, I have her Energy Codes book, and I've taken some of her uh, workshops and I practice um, a lot of her breathing techniques and clearing techniques. And it's called The Awakening. And she was interviewing Marcy Sminoff, who is running the Year of Miracles. And also, her books have come out on happiness, no matter what. And your happiness does not depend on circumstances. And that's what um, prompted me to make this video today, because here's some statistics that she shared, is that we have a genetic um, set point on happiness. And so that comes to us from our family. And she said, I wasn't born happy. I never was a happy kid. It was just this internal strife inside of me. And I could so relate to that. And I've dealt with that. And we think that we have to change our circumstances, but circumstances are only 10% of our happiness. So we spend like 90% of our energy trying to get our circumstances right to feel like now I can be happy. Maybe I found my life partner. Maybe I got a divorce. Maybe I finally had a child, um, achieved something in my business, created something that I've dreamed about. Whatever it is, that's only 10% of what happiness is. So here we are, these difficult circumstances globally. I mean, I've never been such a situation where it's everybody the world over, and we need to be one, and we have a collective consciousness. And last night, there was an ultimatum being set by one person that really affected the world. And so many things went on last night with consciousness and prayer and people coming together to pray about this moment. And so we've dodged a bullet right now, and I don't know what's going to happen. But Dr. Sue also talked about our cells. And you hear me talk about fix the cell and be well. We have to fix things on a cellular level because our cells are there are trillions of cells in our body all working right now, helping me speak. I don't have to think about it. Our heart, our brain, our eyes, everything is being run by ourselves without us having to direct them. Wow, what if we did? And she said that there's all of these receptors on the outside of every single cell, and your energy affects how that cell's going to operate and be healthy. So if you're happy and your happiness and you're content and you feel well-being, which can mean many, many things to different people, your cells reflect that. But if you're in anger and fear and judgment and anxiety, your cells feel that too. So which way do you think your cells can go? It's really up to you. So this is important, important work. So, with many healers and many people, we've talked about regulation and clearing our energy. And we've talked so many things now. I know my feeds are filled with that. Maybe yours are not, but I guess I'm in that space. We have grounding sheets, we have grounding shoes. We talk about going in nature, going barefoot. Nature baths, many cultures, that's part of their culture because it is a health benefit. It is a life practice, a lifestyle, a life hack. And um, but if you're in cold, look at the winters that had happened this year. How can you go out barefoot and being on concrete or the floor is not the same as being on the ground. So it's getting harder and harder to work on regulating ourselves and clearing that energy, that stuck energy. Dr. Sue Morter talks that energy gets stuck. She's not the only one talking about that. Our energy gets stuck in different areas of our body, and that helps create chronic disease. We need to clear that out. And that's easier said than done. How many people right now can't sleep? We're all struggling to be calm. I know I'm not as productive. I can feel I'm very empathic and I feel that energy and I have to be careful. And you can only do so much saging, so much nature bathing. And, we've got busy lives and people are working two and three jobs just to keep their head above water and food on the table for their family. So oftentimes this gets set by the table. So when I reached out to this person that said, I can do in one session what it took me 20 sessions to do, I said, I want to know more. And it turns out she's in Canada, has been a body healer, a body worker for over 30 years from her own circumstances of her children. At first, she was in Western medicine and even worked with pharmaceuticals and realized those weren't the answers to her child's situation. And it delved into this lifelong learning and practice. And so I found this tool that is able to help you in 20 seconds clear your energy, put an energy shield up, EMF shield. You can have 120,000 different blueprinted, these are proven uh, frequencies because our body is energy. We are all frequencies. We are water and we're frequencies. And we can pull those things out, play those frequencies, and that can help our body in so many different ways. I mean, even um, working with other healers, they can feel the energy of a migraine on someone, but you might not know that root cause. I'm all about root causes. It could be something completely different, but our voice does not lie. And that is why lie detector tests are so reliable. Our voice is the truth. We cannot hide behind our thoughts, our projections, our personality. You cannot hide behind that. And in 10 seconds, this particular technology can give you reports on what's going on in your emotions, in your organs, in your cells, food sensitivities. It's an educational tool, and you can look at patterns. And your voice is going to be different and disclose different things when you've just had a fight with your spouse or had something happen in at work or bad news about your health, as opposed to laying on the beach and being happy, or your child coming home and giving you a hug and loving on you. you know, all of that changes all of the structure in our body. I mean, even our muscular cellular structure. And if you want to know more about that, let me know. So happy to find a tool that will help me integrate and complement what I'm already doing with the physicality of cellular activation. And now I can have emotional cellular activation and optimization. It doesn't just recognize that, it will put together and scanning frequencies for you to use to optimize and rebalance both things. We're getting looking to get towards homeostasis. You want to be in balance physically and emotionally, to be the best that you can be health wise. So, I mean, incorporating this now. I've been quiet about it. I have been using it for a number of months, and I have a number of healers who have incorporated it into their practice. We can reach more people. This is now available to the masses, where before the technology was extremely expensive and in doctors' offices. And now that technology is available for us. It's like having a wellness center 24/7 in your hands. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't sleep, there's something that you can do. If your dog is having these circumstances, think about what's happening with vet bills. It has the chakras in there, it has the Bach flowers, it has homeopathy, it has all kinds of frequencies and cleansings and detoxing. It is, there's so much. So much at such a reasonable price and at so much value. If you have any interest in knowing more, please reach out to me. I'm an educator at heart, and that's what this is about: educating people to tools and the things that are available to them to maximize their health, so that we can enjoy our lives no matter what the circumstances.